Orioles control owner David Rubenstein, and the man we're here for today, Orioles catcher Samuel Basallo. At this time, I'll turn it over to Orioles Executive Vice President and General Manager Mike Elias for a statement.
Thank you, Nate. And Nate named and acknowledged a lot of our special guests, but I also want to acknowledge Sam's family and his trainers and his representatives for being here. It's so much of a process for a young kid from the Dominican to reach this level, and there are so many people involved in that, and it's wonderful to have you guys here. It's also very special to see so much of our team and our coaching staff and members of our front office and scouting department here for this. It's a really big deal for this organization on a few levels. We're very proud of Sam and excited about his talent, and that's why we've made a 9-year agreement to keep him in Baltimore long term. This has been a place since he was an amateur that he really wanted to be. We did not have a real Latin program at the time of his signing. This was Kobe Perez's first big signing that we made in 2019 and our first $1 million bonus player. And to have him have been so successful and get to this moment really means a lot for our entire program in Latin America and the Dominican Republic. Sam knew that it would be a big responsibility being the symbol of our program, and he's been terrific ever since joining our system. One of our hardest workers, one of our more successful young players, and has had a tremendous minor league career to this point. So we know that his major league career holds a lot of promise, but we also know there's a lot of work ahead, and we have the utmost faith that he's going to continue to be the young man that he's been since we've known him, which is when he was 14, 15 years old. So we have a lot of confidence and familiarity in the player, but also the person and the leader that he is. And so I know he's really excited, humbled to join this team and all of this great young talent, most of which we've drafted and developed ourselves. And for him to be our first player from our Latin American program to come up and join this wonderful group of guys is very meaningful. So want to thank him, his representatives, for finding this deal, and thank the ownership group led by David for allowing us the support to make these types of decisions and investments that can bear a lot of fruit for the organization, for the city, but also for the athletes. So wonderful day for us, and we look forward to working with Sam for a very, very long time, and hopefully leading us to much success and many championships during his time here.
We'll open it up to questions for today's press conference. We will call on individuals. If you have a question, just please make sure it's clear who your question is for. So our first question is from Rakabaka with MASN Sports.
So, well, just curious, what's your reaction when the club reaches out to you, your representatives, to try to get a deal done like this so early in your major league career?
Samuel, ¿cómo fue para ti cuando el equipo te contactó a ti y a tu equipo para hablar sobre este posible contrato?
Bueno, me sentí sumamente bien y sumamente agradecido con Dios de que la organización tuvo las ganas de que yo de creer en mí, de mi talento, y ¿sabes? Solamente me siento muy agradecido con Dios y por la organización de poder querer llegar a un acuerdo conmigo, y eso significa mucho para mí.
Yeah, I feel extremely good, and I thank God that the organization believes in my talent and believes in me to be willing to have this conversation and come to this agreement on a new contract, with me. So I think it means a lot to hear the organization feel that way about me and my talent.
Rich Dubroff, Baltimore Baseball.
Mike, why did you pick Sam as the first player to extend?
I think there's a lot of the same reasons we picked him as the first player to sign in a major way out of Latin America. We think he's tremendously talented. As he's shown already at the major league level, he's got the ability to catch. We also think he's a potential middle of the order run producing bat. He's got a lot of power, but he can really hit too. And what he's done at a young age has been very encouraging. And we know the great family and support system that he comes from. We've seen the type of worker that he is, and we think he's scratching the surface of a very bright future. We still have work left to do, but we're going to do this together. And it's important. It's important for us to have these types of talents in the organization for as long as we're able to. So we talked, and we're able to find common ground, and we're just really pleased where we're at with this.
Andy Koska, Baltimore Banner.
Kobe, how did you, back then when there wasn't much of a Latin American system yet in Baltimore, how did you, Mike, and the rest of the scouting department go to convincing Samuel that this was a place that could be his?
Yeah, it's a good question because, as everyone knows, the Orioles weren't scouting very much in Latin America. So initially, we needed to get buy-in from the agents, the trainers, that we were serious about this. So we're very fortunate in the beginning because Mike made many trips to the Dominican, and he hit the ground with us like his old days being a scout. And I think that really put us over the top because obviously there was a lot of competition for Basallo services. But I think the fact that Mike was there and went to scout him personally really put us in the driver's seat when it came to the negotiations. So,
Jacob Calvin-Meyer, Baltimore Sun.
Mike, this organization, and in particular yourself, has received a lot of flack for not signing players to long-term contract extensions. How satisfying is this for you and for the organization? And additionally, do you hope that this is the first of many more to come?
Well, yeah, it's a great moment. So we're definitely celebrating that we've reached this agreement and that we're going to have Sam for such a long time, and he'll be such a big part of our team. Look, these aren't easy deals to line up, but I wanted to tell those of you on the business side here of this. This is something that's not easy for organizations or players to line up on, and that's part of it. That's okay, but we work very hard at this, and anytime we think there's an opportunity to line up and have it make sense for both parties, it's something that we discuss and explore. So never easy to push deals across the finish line in this business, so we celebrate when that's the case. And we as a front office, as a ownership group and organization, we're always going to continue to look to make good investments, whether that's trying to extend our own players or anything else that we do. So this is a part of that, but we just want to have a very talented team, organization, and run it as well as we can and continue to invest in the operation for the sake of this organization and Baltimore baseball.
Jake Rill, MLB.com.
Samuel, what's it mean to you to have so many teammates and coaches here, and just how excited are you for the long-term potential of this group?
Samuel, ¿qué tanto significa para ti tener tantos de tus compañeros, tus coaches, entrenadores aquí? ¿Y cuáles son tus expectativas para los próximos 8 años?
Bueno, se siente muy bien, me siento sumamente feliz de que todos mis compañeros están aquí, de que todos los entrenadores, todos los coaches y cada uno de nuestros jugadores están aquí dándome el apoyo que se necesita. Y las expectativas son, yo creo que cada uno de los que estamos aquí en esta habitación, vamos a dar lo mejor de nosotros durante los próximos años, y tenerlo a ellos aquí se siente muy especial para mí, y sabiendo que yo llegué hace poco, se siente mucho mejor todavía.
Yeah, it feels really good and really special to have all my teammates here, coaches, trainers. I know I just got here, but having them here really does mean a lot to me. I think over the next 8 years, we're all going to try to do our best as a group to give everything that we have to try and win as much as possible.
Kyle Goon, Baltimore Banner.
Hi, for David, sort of similar to what Jacob asked, how important was it to the ownership group, now a year and a half in, to start getting some long-term contracts for some of these homegrown players? And you described in your statement Samuel being a catalyst. Do you mean that as more of these deals in the future?
Thank you for the question. The Orioles ownership group is fairly well capitalized, and we have the resources to do these kind of deals. It takes two to do deals, but we thought this was a perfect one for the first one of this type, not only because his last name begins with a B and we're in Baltimore. We like the fact that he has a B. I wish I could talk to him in Spanish. I went to Baltimore City College, and they had a choice between French and Spanish. They said French was easier, so I took French. I should have taken Spanish, but I'll brush up on my Spanish at some point, I hope, and I can converse in Spanish better than I can in English at some point, I hope. The best players the Orioles have had over the years, historically, have been homegrown. So Jim Palmer, his entire career is here. Brooks Robinson, entire career here. Cal Ripken, entire career here. So obviously, you can get good players from time to time who come later in their career and may not finish their career here, but we've had a tradition of having players who spent their entire career here, and we hope Sam will as well. And we think, we've got a lot of other talented people on the team who we hope will ultimately want to spend their entire career here or spend long-term arrangements with us, and we're committed to doing more of these as soon as we can.
Andy Koska, Baltimore Banner.
Like, obviously, this is not something that happens overnight. When did negotiations kind of begin in earnest, and how quickly did it come together?
Well, it's important to wait, in his case, until his debut. So that was, certainly something that I think both sides were conceptually aware might be a possibility. I mean, there's these types of deals happening around players' debuts now around the league. Everybody sees that. But in terms of when our dialogue opened up on this particular deal, Gio and I started talking the day of his debut. So not very long ago.
Steve Molesky.
Kobe, what has made Samuel such a great role model for your international program besides the obvious talent? And what does today mean to kids in the DSL right now?
Yeah, I think what separated Sam for us early on was his desire to be the best. Most kids we talk to down there, they tell you, I want to play in the big leagues. He's always said, I want to be the best, I want to be the best, and he has worked hard to try to be the best, and we expect him to continue to do that. And his desire, his passion is really strong, and you're able to see it on the field. And I think when he made his debut, there was a big party at our new Dominican Academy. So I think he's going to be a role model for our program moving forward. And we're excited to continue to try to find more Sams. So,
Kyle Goon, Baltimore Banner.
Yes, this question is for Samuel. In the last day, have you heard a lot from folks at the Dominican Academy and former teammates and things like that? And what influence do you think your career and your journey to the majors could have on some players who are still coming up from the Dominican Academy?
Durante el último día has escuchado mucho sobre algunas personas en Dominicana y qué tanto crees tú que tu carrera puede influir a muchos que están en la Liga Dominicana ahora mismo.
Bueno, muchos de mis compañeros en Dominicana que jugamos juntos, ¿sabes? Que subimos juntos y ¿sabes? Todos me han llamado, todos se han puesto súper contentos conmigo. Todos están ¿sabes? Súper emocionados y yo creo que eso le va a dar la gana a cada uno de ellos de trabajar más duro cada día, de querer llegar hasta este punto y ¿sabes? Yo siento que mi carrera y lo que yo vengo haciendo en la menores y todo eso va a ayudar bastante a los muchachos y va a ser un ejemplo para ellos de seguir trabajando duro y dedicación y dar lo mejor de ellos cada día.
Yeah, a lot of my Dominican teammates have reached out to me, just saying how excited they are and how happy they are. I hope that my career will help them be more motivated to continue working hard and trying to get to this level as well. But it's been great to hear from them, and I hope that I can be that sort of example for them, and hope that they can work really hard to get here as well.
Rich Struboff, Baltimore Baseball.
Yeah, David, in a disappointing season for the team, how important symbolically is this for the fans to show that there's something to look forward to?
Clearly, it's disappointing for everyone, the players, the city, the ownership group, the management. Everybody's disappointed. In my own life, like many of you, probably I've had disappointments before, and you pick yourself up, you get back on your feet, and you're trying to do the best you can and move forward. So we're going to move forward. This is a very important symbolic first step as we move forward. We're very pleased with this decision, but we hope we can have others like this at some point, and we're going to work on that, and we hope to build the team to be the point where it is the best team in baseball, not only on the field, but in the back office, and we have the stadium renovations going forward, which I think should make it very exciting for people to come here next year, because we'll have a lot of the renovations done, not all of them, but most of them should be done by the beginning of next season. So we have a lot of things going on in Baltimore, and we're very happy with this decision, but there are many other good things that are going to come, I think, as well. So stay tuned.
Ian Quillen, Associated Press.
For Sam, obviously with a deal of this magnitude comes a lot of responsibility and some pressure. This is still very new for you, just being here in the bigs. What are your thoughts about handling that level of responsibility and the things that come with this long-term commitment? What's expected of you?
Sam, con un contrato de esta magnitud, obviamente hay muchas responsabilidades y mucha presión. ¿Cómo crees tú que puedes manejar todas estas responsabilidades y presión de tener este nuevo contrato?
Bueno, yo creo que yo lo podría manejar muy bien, gracias a Dios. Y, ¿sabes? Yo tengo un grupo, mi familia, mis agentes y cada una de las personas que en la organización que me van a ayudar a mejorar y a tratar de dar lo mejor de mí cada día. Yo cada día que yo sé que es una responsabilidad bien grande y que muchas personas están esperando cosas grandes de mí. Y yo solamente voy a dar lo mejor de mí cada día y voy a seguir trabajando más duro de lo que vengo haciéndolo para seguir mejorando y tratar de hacer sentir orgulloso a cada una de las personas que están aquí.
Well, I think I can manage it really well. Thank God I have a really good group around me, family, agents, and people in this organization. So what I'm going to do is work really hard to make sure that I can do my part. I know it's a big responsibility, but I want to do everything in my power to make sure that I make the people around me proud of myself.
Andy Koska.
Sam, you debuted 6 days ago, and here you are. Have you had a second to take a breath and just reflect on the journey overall from the first time you picked up a bat to here you are sitting with a new contract?
Sam, debutaste hace 6 días. ¿Has podido tomar un momento para reflejar sobre todo qué ha pasado de tu debut hasta ahora estando sentado aquí?
Bueno, ¿sabes? Han pasado muchas cosas los últimos días, ¿sabes? Cosas buenas, que eso es lo que todo el mundo quisiera, todo un sueño hecho de realidad para mí. Y, ¿sabes? Yo digo que, yo solo estoy disfrutando el momento y solo estoy tratando de estar en el presente y todo esto que está pasando ha sido una bendición de Dios y, ¿sabes? Gracias de nuevo a la organización por esto y, ¿sabes? Es algo increíble y algo por lo cual se trabajó mucho y seguiremos trabajando.
Yeah, a lot has happened over the last few days, but it's a blessing for sure. I thank God for this opportunity once again, and I thank the organization for this opportunity. I'm looking forward to, for what's to come, and looking forward to continue working hard, and doing what I can.
Chelsea Janes, Washington Post.
This question is for Mike. You've obviously got, another all-star catcher in the room. You've got plenty of talent kind of around the field here with young talent. How does that factor into conversations with a player like Samuel when you kind of look at the depth maybe ahead of him or with him? And then how does that even kind of factor into your plans moving forward long term?
Yeah, thanks. The talent that we have in this organization is really strong. I mean, our record's not reflecting it right now, and we're going to fix that. And we've been playing good baseball for a couple of months, but we need to get back into the playoffs that we were accustomed to the last couple of years with this group. But we feel so confident in the group of guys here. From my point of view, the more the merrier when it comes to good players. We've got a lot of guys here, Samuel included, who are really good athletes and can play multiple positions. And the fact that we have multiple great catchers is a good thing, and we're going to be able to put guys at DH and first base and share those at bats. So we've got a roster that has flexibility. We have a lot of good hitters, and we'll continue to figure out ways to include as many good players and great hitters into the lineup that we can.
Any final questions? Steve?
Mike, how has Samuel's defense come this year? And the Orioles for years have said he's a catcher. You hear people around baseball debate that. What do you say?
Well, he's caught in the big leagues already very successfully this week. So I think that's a testament right there. He's a young guy. He's also a very big guy. And with the background that he has coming out of the international circuit, it's very impressive what he's done thus far in his career as a catcher. That said, our expectations, scouting-wise, for his bat are we hope that it's going to play in the middle of the order, and it's going to be the kind of bat that can produce and profile out of first base or the designated hitter position. And Sam's also a pretty good first baseman too. And when he was young, like his brother, he used to be a middle infielder. So he's a good infielder. He's got a lot of skills. We're very encouraged with his catching. He does a great job. He's still learning, as I've talked about, and now he's learning at the major league level. It'll continue to be part of his portfolio of skills as a player, but I think when we make an investment in somebody like this, we want to be sure there's the offensive profile that we're looking for and some positional flexibility, and he gives us all those things. So that's why he's such a special talent.
Kyle Goon?
Mike, obviously you guys expanded payroll last offseason. You have a big to-do list this offseason, but does signing one of these long-term contracts, in your mind, demonstrate as you approach the offseason to agents, to teams that, David said you guys are well capitaled? Do you feel like this might open up a different level of conversation for guys as you build the team this offseason?
I think David and his whole group, and it's a large group, it's a really robust group, and as he said, it's well capitalized. They've put us in a position to run this franchise optimally in a way that I don't know that it's been executed here over the long history of the team for a while. So again, this season has had a lot of misfortune and it hasn't gone to plan, and we don't think that our record reflects the level of talent and capabilities that are in this organization. But this group has put us in a position where a lot of these things are much more possible, and that we have the ability to make an investment like this, to build new facilities across the minor leagues and in Sarasota, to raise the payroll like we did over the winter, to continue to explore these type of contracts, either with our own homegrown players or with free agents. This is all on the table thanks to this group, and we will continue to try to make shrewd investments and run the franchise responsibly. But we want to win. We want to win in Baltimore and in the AL East, and we know that requires the whole spectrum of investments, moves that you make as an organization, and we hope we're just getting started.
Yeah, we had some bad luck this year, obviously. Health challenges were more severe than anybody could have ever predicted, but our players, when they're healthy, when we have our best team on the field and they're healthy, I think we're as good as anybody in baseball. We just need to stay healthy, and hopefully we can be healthier next year. But we've got some really good other projects underway, and I think people are going to be very happy in Baltimore with what we field next year. But I don't want to eliminate this season. We still have a number of games to play, and we want to win as many of them as possible.
Jacob Calvin-Meyer?
Samuel, this is obviously life-changing money. Could you detail what this means to not just you, but also your family, to sign a lucrative contract like this? And have you maybe thought at all about what your first big purchase will be?
Samuel, obviamente este tipo de dinero es muy significante y el tipo de dinero que cambia tu vida. ¿Qué tanto significa esto para ti y tu familia? Y quizás nos puedas contar cuál es la primera cosa que quizás vayas a comprar con este dinero.
Bueno, ¿sabes? Es algo que me va a cambiar la vida. ¿Sabes? Dios puso una bendición en mi familia ahora mismo y, ¿sabes? No sabemos qué vamos a hacer ahora todavía, pero estamos pensando, y mucha gente nos va a ayudar con ese tipo de cosas. Tenemos gente que nos van a ayudar. Pero yo digo que ahora mismo el enfoque principal es jugar duro y tratar de ganar el resto de la temporada, lo que queda.
Obviously, it's life-changing money, and it's a big blessing that God has placed over my family. We don't yet know what we're going to do. We know we have, plan and people that are going to help us figure that out. But right now, my focus is to play baseball and do everything that I can to help the team win games.
Time for one more question, if anyone has one. All right, I want to thank everybody for coming here today, especially the current Orioles and staff. Thank you guys for taking time out of your day to come. The viewers on MASN and Orioles.com. To Samuel and his family, congratulations. Thank you.
It is officially known as